he made $15,000 in VIP upgrades, and his launch 2 weeks later was a six-figure launch. Her niche is, she's a Black woman, and her niche is helping Black women heal from sexual trauma. And through the art of collaboration, everything she learned, she now has a multi-seven-figure business. So you can take any niche and you can create a very profitable business. The best form of marketing has been, always will be, word of mouth. So when you think of word of mouth, a lot of people automatically think referrals, but I'm talking about collaborating with other experts.
If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer Podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now, let's get to it with today's guest. Hey, Digital Trailblazers, it's Leah Ray Getz here. Super excited to talk with you today and introduce you to our guest, Cindy J. Cindy, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and let them know what you're all about.
Oh, well, thank you, Leah, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm known as Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and I help mainly coaches, but I also help authors, speakers, or consultants step into who they are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits so that they can create a fun and profitable business.
So how did you get there? Because I can imagine that's not where you started in all this.
Definitely not. My first online business was in 2001. I sold pewter figurines utilizing a drop shipper. And then I morphed into affiliate marketing where I was selling other people's stuff utilizing Google Ads. And I got hit by the big giant Google slap of 2008. And it wasn't too much fun. And right after that, I found coaching. Now, I was working in social services, and I thought, what a novel idea. I can help people that want to be helped versus people that are being told they have to be helped. So I started coaching, and I first started coaching as a divorce coach, and that was in 2008. And in 2017, I morphed into being the Visibility Wiz. But even while I was divorce coaching, I was coaching a lot of business owners because they were constantly coming to me, asking me, how did you get on Huffington Post? How'd you get on Huffington Post Live? How'd you get on Prevention? How'd you get on eHarmony? Can you show me how? And so people started looking to me for online visibility. When I started in 2008, one of the best ways to get people was through speaking in person. And I lived in a teeny weeny town, 90 miles from any place else. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week, and I did not want to drive 4 hours to speak for 20 to 30 minutes to possibly get a client. So I utilized all of the strategies I had learned from my affiliate marketing and Google Ads and SEO and my pewter figurine business to get seen online.
So that's how you grew in first as a divorce coach, and then it just sort of naturally morphed that people, more and more business owners are like, well, how did you do that and that and that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. So where have you built this up to today?
I have a six-figure business. My goal this year is to go to multi-six figures. I've been at six figures for a while. I've had some health challenges the past couple years, so I've just sort of been maintaining and sitting where I'm at based on the strategies that I utilize.
Well, honestly, to be able to have a stable six figures when you do have health strategy, because let's be real, in the last 4 years, people who never had health problems have rampantly had health issues and been out for months potentially with everything that has gone on, right? So,
and that was one of my health challenges. I had COVID and I was in ICU for a month. So then I had some long COVID symptoms. And I came home for about 2 months, got thrown back in the hospital again. But because I had built up so many relationships, it was easier for me to maintain my business.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And that speaks to the stability that you've created. So that's awesome. Like, what were some of the challenges that you faced in getting to where you are today?
My first mentor always told me you can only build your business as fast as you grow yourself. And that is so very, very true. I had a lot of issues from my childhood and my past that I had to overcome in order to be successful. I had to step into who I was with outrageous confidence. I had to find my worth. And that was, I would say, probably one of the biggest challenges. Also, one time right after I became a divorce coach, maybe I was a divorce coach for about a year or two, Huffington Post invited me to be a group expert on a live show. And the discussion was about finding friends with benefits. And I was really nervous because, video wasn't as rampant back then as it is now. I'd never been on video. And I was so nervous and didn't quite know what I was doing and really stuttered over my words. And Huffington Post, when they aired the episode, they were marketing it with certified divorce coach Cindy Holbrook tells all of her clients to find a friend with benefits. And I was mortified. I literally crawled under my covers and stayed in bed for 3 days crying, thinking my business was over. I would never be able to coach again. My credibility was ruined. Nobody would ever trust me. And I was 100% mortified. And after 3 days, I crawled out of bed and looked online. Now, I did have a lot of hate mail, but I also had a lot of inquiries for my services. Now, what I was trying to say, and maybe these people that did the inquiries for my services understood what I was trying to say, is that I tell all of my clients that I believe it's better to find a friend with benefits than to have multiple one-night stands. So what I was trying to say and how they quoted me was totally different. But I really thought I'm going to have to go back to work for social services. My business is over. This is the fatal mistake. And so many people are afraid of that fatal mistake in their business. And really and truly, the only fatal mistake a person can make is to quit and give up.
That's a big one. I think we all have the internet to thank for our livelihood these days as online coaches, but there's two sides to things, right? There's definitely two sides to things that if something's taken the wrong way or whatever. And so, yeah, I think that's, bless you. I can't imagine though how that would have felt.
One of the biggest things, especially a lot of people are afraid of rejection online, and not everybody's going to agree with you. And I believe, I've been told this, and I believe that, hey, whenever you start getting that hate mail, that means that you're starting to succeed. Whenever people start saying negative things about you, remember it's about them. It's not about you. And that, again, was a lesson that I really had to learn. And also deciphering when somebody was just outright being mean or if they were actually just voicing their opinion. So I was doing these Facebook Lives one time and my electricity was out. So I went to a coffee shop to do this Facebook Live, and my hair was super frizzy because I couldn't wash it or anything because I didn't have any electricity. And I got blasted saying, I don't want to learn by somebody with frizzy hair. And I thought, well, I'm supposed to keep negative remarks on my Facebook page. And my mentor's like, no, that was just outright mean. She's not disagreeing with you. She's just being mean. It's her issue. Let it go and just let her go. Also, after I had COVID, I lost 95% of my hair. And by then I had really grown a lot. That was in 2022 that I had COVID. And so somebody sent me an email. Somebody on my email list sent me an email telling me that I was the most unauthentic person they had ever met. And at first it really bugged me. I thought, I have been posting my bald head on Facebook. Now that took a lot of courage. And that was like really being authentic, right? Sharing my COVID story and stuff. And so, I didn't sit with it too long. I thought, hey, I wonder if she unsubscribed from my email list. So I checked and she had not unsubscribed. So I unsubscribed for her because I decided that she wasn't going to learn anything from me if she thought that I was unauthentic, right? So I just unsubscribed her from my list. And what was so interesting was 5 minutes later, I got another email saying, "You're so authentic. I love your authenticity."
Oh, that is so funny. Well, I love that unsubscribe button as well. When there are people that, we attract amazing, wonderful, gracious, kind, like you typically attract your tribe. Every once in a while, someone else comes into your sphere, though, and it's definitely not a good fit, right?
Exactly.
That in our system, we have a DND, and we can DND mark them unsubscribe essentially from all forms of content. And I enjoy hitting that button when the time comes. Release that toxic energy.
That's it.
Keep moving forward, because that's the reality. You're going to attract great people and you will find your haters. I know back when we first got started, we got our first big hater. Like, this guy went on a tirade. I don't know what his mental health issue, I don't know what his situation was, but it was very odd, and he just went off. And Todd wrote a blog post about it, like, haters gonna hate. And he put this whole blog post, how we finally made it. You don't ever make it till you get a real hater. And it's true. It's part of the journey. It's going to happen. Be yourself. Come at all of this with the heart of service. And there's hurting people in the world that are going to try to hurt. And that's the reality of it.
Definitely. And it's such a good lesson when we can share our haters. I heard somebody say once that haters can be our best sales machines, because whenever we utilize and show people how we deal with haters, that gives more people confidence, both in themselves, but also confidence in us.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So what are some of the biggest wins that you've helped your clients to create?
A few different, some of my favorites, let's just say. One of my clients, Karen, when she came to me, she really thought that she wasn't cut out for the business. She was a new life coach. Her first person that she had talked to said, in order to succeed online, you need to do Facebook ads. And so in her first 6 months of business, she spent $8,000 on Facebook ads, added 500 people to her email list, and had 0 clients. So the first thing I had her do was stop the Facebook ads. Facebook ads are their own little trick, their own little thing, and I would never place one myself without somebody who really knew the ins and outs of Facebook ads, because you can really lose a lot of money doing Facebook ads. But you can make money too if you have somebody helping you that really knows.
Exactly. And because Todd is a genius at Facebook ads. He's really good at it. We've heard the horror stories before. People come to us as clients and they've spent tens of thousands, haven't made a single sale, or they even didn't know it was turned on and it was just running and it wasn't working. And so yes, use with caution, get professional help.
And also, one thing, ways that I help my clients is to discover strategies that align with their personality, their beliefs, and their values. And if Facebook ads doesn't align with this, it's not going to work for you. If Facebook doesn't align with this, it's not going to work with you. If LinkedIn doesn't align with this, it's not going to work for you. Whatever strategy you choose needs to align with who you are. Otherwise, it's not going to work with you. So I worked with Karen and we found strategies that worked for her. Within 3 months, she added over 2,000 people to her list, and had 3 clients, each paying her $5,000. So she made $15,000, all without paying for any ads. Another one of my clients, he wanted to do a summit, and this was Dave, and Dave was in real estate, but Dave really understood the power of having somebody coach him that had been there, done that. So he hired me to help him create a summit. And the way that I always do summits, after I interview the people, 2 weeks later, you do a launch, because you've just added all these new people to your list. So now you have a launch that you do. And so Dave had 30 speakers. He had 1,600 attendees and added about 4,000 people to his list. He made $15,000 in VIP upgrades. And his launch 2 weeks later was a 6-figure launch. And that was through the power of collaboration by hosting the summit. So whenever you know how to collaborate and you do a summit the right way, it can be very, very profitable. And then I have Eric. Eric, he was good at one-on-one, but he was really struggling to create courses or to get people into his programs. He was really struggling to build his list. So he said, coaching with Cindy J was like pouring gas on a fire. My coaching business exploded. Through her guidance, I was able to 10 times my email list, gain clarity on my offer, and most important, host my own giveaway. I was able to launch and fill my signature course and generate more monthly revenue, $12,000, for my business than I ever had in the past. And so those are some of my favorite people that I've worked with and their results.
That's awesome. So what do you find is working really well today for people bringing in new clients and getting exposure and getting out there?
The best form of marketing has been, always will be, word of mouth. So when you think of word of mouth, a lot of people automatically think referrals, but I'm talking about collaborating with other experts. So whenever we think, who is the person, the biggest influencer that most of us always think of is Oprah. And we think that Oprah knows everything because Oprah has interviewed everybody on every subject there is. So in your business, whenever you start collaborating with other experts that serve the same audience as you, this gives you automatic expertise and credibility. It's like, you'll see, even a scene on. I have a scene on Huffington Post, a scene on Women Speakers Association TV, a scene on Everyday Woman TV. So all of this, it builds stuff. But then also, whenever last week I was on a panel with Rob Goyette and T.R. Garland and Milana Lashinsky, all who serve my target audience, who are very, very big. Each of them have their own 7-figure businesses. So even though I'm at a 6-figure business, it still elevated my credibility that I'm speaking with these people, that I'm on a panel of experts with them. So anytime you are with somebody else, people give you the same expertise and credibility that they're giving the person that you're interviewing or that's interviewing you. So the people that I know that love, know, like, and trust me automatically know, like, and trust Leah because you're interviewing me. So they're giving you the same expertise and credibility as me and vice versa. That's why collaborating works so well. So whenever you collaborate, a lot of people, they just automatically think like, oh, it's just exchanging emails and it's helping each other, promoting each other's launches. But it's so much more than that. Collaborations are doing giveaways. It's interviewing people on your Facebook Live or having a podcast and interviewing other people. And giveaways and summits are my 2 favorite forms. Giveaways is just a great list building avenue, whereas the summits is a great collaboration, as is hosting your own podcast. So whenever I first started my own podcast, I wanted to interview top-level people. So I asked a lot of 6- and 7-figure coaches if they would be my guest. And I thought, if they say yes, I'll start it. If they say no, I won't. So my very first guest on my podcast was Christian Michelson, Justin Livingston, Alina Vincent. So I had some big names there, which really helped to boost my credibility, helped to boost my profits. So whenever you're collaborating, you can also collaborate to, in a couple weeks, one of my colleagues and I are going to be hosting an interactive workshop on creating emotionally charged sales pages. So these are ways that you can collaborate with other people because you're getting their audience as well. So Kimberly's emailing her audience, and so I'm going to be introduced to her audience, and she'll be introduced to mine. The same with Facebook. If you're on Facebook or any of the channels, if you have a live show, if you interview somebody else and they interview you, you're getting in front of other people's audiences. Also, sometimes you can do what's called dedicated webinars. And this is like if you sent an email to your list, Leah, telling everybody, hey, Cindy's having her create a fun and profitable business webinar. Click here to join, but I'm only doing it for your audience. And this is another way that people collaborate. And then in return, I would do a dedicated webinar for you when you're launching. So there's lots of different ways to collaborate with other experts. And whenever you're collaborating with other experts, it is word of mouth. And it's, as I said earlier, always has been, always will be the best form of marketing.
So what are some ways that someone who's brand new, so they don't really have a list yet, or it's really small, they've got a really small following, what are some good ways to start collaborating?
I always say, especially whenever you're new, if you host your own giveaway or you host your own summit, then this is going to help you build your list and build your business quickly. Earlier, I was talking about morphing into the Visibility Wiz. So whenever I morphed completely into the Visibility Wiz and decided to leave the divorce coaching behind, I had like a list of 8,000 divorced women. Some of them, I did have a few of my clients or a few business owners on there, but most of them were not interested in business marketing. So even though I was very experienced, I was having to start new. So the first thing that I did was I hosted my own summit. So I had a zero list of entrepreneurs. I hosted my own summit. I interviewed 42 experts, and everybody was promoting the summit. And a couple of people, they were messaging me like, my God, Cindy, I'm seeing you everywhere. You are just everywhere online you are. And it was because when you know how to host a summit correctly, then you're really getting a lot of attention to you. And especially it's how the marketing's done. Whenever I do graphics for my summits, I do them differently than most people. I make my graphics that make my speakers want to share the graphics, not just of themselves, but for the other speakers. And that is how I gained so much credibility. For that summit, I added 3,500 people to my list. And then I launched my first program after that as the Visibility Wiz. And that is exactly what I help a lot of people do if they want to go fast. You can also host a giveaway. And hosting giveaways, you're still going to build your list. But whenever you host a summit, you're getting higher qualified leads than if you host a giveaway. Giveaways, you do get leads. And you do get some good leads, but also you get more tire kickers than you do on a summit.
Yeah. And just for our audience, I think a lot of people know what these are, but I'm going to just give a quick overview. So summit, let's say so Cindy hosted this. So she coordinated 42, which is a huge summit, 42 speakers who all had their own audience and lists. And the agreement is the speaker gets to speak on her stage and also promotes it to their email list and to their audience on social. And so she provides the copy on what should be sent out. She provides the links, everything to do, and she coordinates all of it, which is a big project. Not going to lie, it's a big coordination, a big project. And then she interviews, and then it's over a series of days. People get access to it, and I love summits. I'm a guest on many summits. I haven't actually done one myself because it is a big project and I just don't have the bandwidth for that. But Yeah, they are wonderful, and very, very hot leads can come through there. And we've got a client who crushes it with summits all the time. So yeah, I love that. And then giveaways are like a very simplified version of this, where there's no interviews or anything, but it's a group of people coming together and offering essentially like a lead magnet type of thing, something free that she would then coordinate, and then everyone's promoting the giveaway because there's a bunch of good free stuff in there, and it's an opportunity for people to opt in to your list.
And I was sharing my success stories earlier now too. Now, with Eric, I helped him host his own giveaway. And that's how he 10 times his list. With Dave, I helped him host his own summit. And, he just had amazing results. With Karen, all she was using was Facebook. So again, it's very, you can utilize whenever you have different strategies and you know the strategies and you're consistent with them, they will work for you. So Karen she didn't want to do the summit or the giveaway at that time, but utilizing video and utilizing Facebook, she was able to build up a very big list of qualified leads.
That's awesome. So what would be some of those Facebook strategies that you worked with her on?
Definitely it was Facebook Lives, and she did interview a few people on there, but she also did a little bits of coaching to people. She was actually a divorce coach too. And that's one of the reasons she hired me, because I started out as a divorce coach. And so it was just really drilling down what their problems were, doing some Facebook Lives, the shared things, and we recreated her lead magnet to get people on the list. Because if you have a good lead magnet, you're going to get more people on your list. And so whenever we utilize Facebook, I always say you want to use your Facebook group to build your list, and you want to use your list to add people to your Facebook group. And so by doing that, she was able to get clients and get people on her list.
That's awesome. So if talk about like the Facebook Lives, like was she doing it on her personal profile? What was her frequency level? All of that.
It was all on her Facebook group. If your personal Facebook profile is set up properly, and now whenever I was working with her, pages were still better than they are now. I don't even deal with business pages anymore because they're almost useless unless you're placing ads. And so, but at that time she did. And so a lot of people, because Facebook said you couldn't utilize your personal profile for business, a lot of people just like it was like devoid of anything for their business. And so I helped her fix her personal profile to where it was business friendly. And even talking about the little side note, I had a client once, all I did was we reworked her Facebook page, her personal profile, and she got a $10,000 client overnight from changing her personal profile to highlight her business. And so on your personal profile, you have the little quote you can put, and you want to put your lead magnet on there. But also you want to make sure that, especially when her pages were big, and I don't like it whenever you say, works at entrepreneur. Entrepreneur goes nowhere, or self-employed goes nowhere. You want a sales page if for no other reason where people can go and check you out, or a business page, right? And because that gets them little. But then also you can put different links in there. You can put your social media links, and you can put your website. So I had her put her group on there, and I had for her little message up at top, it was bringing people to her group. Also, with Facebook, I had her go to other groups that worked with divorced people and just talk to people, just build relationships, just answer their questions. You don't want to self-promote on somebody else's group because that's a fast way to get kicked out. And whenever you self-promote, the other people in the group really don't like it and they devalue you from doing that. But if you're just answering questions and you're talking to people, what do people do? Who is this Karen person that keeps saying all this brilliant information? They click over to your personal profile. And if your personal profile is not set up for business success, it goes nowhere. And so whenever they clicked over to her personal profile, they was able to find her group, which led to her list. And so it was this little system we had going.
Well, it's very similar to what we teach on Facebook for continuing to nurture people. Always when you're getting people on your email list, part of that funnel needs to be sending them to your Facebook group. Your personal profile needs to be set up. It's your storefront, if you will, for a lot of people. Get that looking sharp and then use it as a tool to have people opt into a lead magnet and send them to the Facebook group.
I used to always say that your business page was the window dressing, of the store, and your Facebook group is where the interaction and the party is.
Yeah, I could totally see that. That's where our super fans are. So, we have a lot of people that listen to the podcast, and we love all of you. We have a lot of people on our email list, but like the super fans are the 10,000 people who are in the Facebook group right now that show up every week when I do my standard live with them every Monday evening. I know their names, like they're loud and they're that's the party. And
exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's if people aren't leveraging that strategy in their business, it's so simple. And it's such a powerful way. If you're only relying on your email follow-ups to nurture people, you are missing out on a ton of opportunity here, because how many people reopen the emails and who's actually reading the whole thing? And like there's a huge missed opportunity versus getting someone in a Facebook group where now they're seeing you interact live and you're essentially having a conversation with them and other people, one to many. And live video is the fastest way to build a know, like, and trust factor.
Right.
So it takes them from like mildly like, I kind of opted in for this thing. I don't know about this person, but to, wow, she's awesome. She really knows her stuff. And look, she's super down to earth. And like all of those things can really shine in live video. And that's one of the reasons I love it. So I completely agree with that. Okay. So summits and giveaways, two really great collaborative things. Now, do you do a lot of webinars, like JV webinars or stuff like that?
I do JV webinars. Something else too, especially for new people that they never think of. Yeah, especially, and you have to have the same ideal audience. If you're a health coach, and it's not going to work if you're a health coach and the other person's a relationship coach. But so you want to make sure, there can be a little bit of across things. Like I know business coaches that are also under the law of attraction. So because it's so intertwined, they can get by with both. But you ask somebody that has your same ideal audience if you can exchange blog post articles. So then I would write a blog post about you and your business, and you would write a blog post about me and my business. And this way, your blog post is pointing to my website's pointing to yours, but that's another way to collaborate. And again, one time I was curious and I checked all my stats. People that found me through Google or just through a search engine stayed on my website less than a minute. I had a pretty high bounce rate, but a bounce rate is people that stay on less than 30 seconds. So, and that's with Google, because whenever somebody puts a search term in, they're looking for something so specific that it may or may not be from whenever you show up. But then people who found me through social media stayed on my website an average of 5 minutes. And people who found me through other people stayed on my website an average of 10 minutes.
Wow, that's interesting.
It was very interesting. And it's like, again, social media definitely outweighs, trying to do SEO and trying to stay placing Google ads that can cost you an arm and a leg. And then again, you don't know who you're getting, because with Google ads, you can't pinpoint your audience as much as you can with Facebook ads. Like you said, your husband was a genius. And so that's what I did, for 5 years was I was doing the Google ads, and can be costly, but I was making money at it because I knew what I was doing. But my niche was dieting. And so that's why Google killed my business overnight, because they really, anybody that had anything to do with diets just about lost their business. At that time, there's like 300 or 400 different diets on Google. But now there's just the big ones, you're not going to find all these other diets anymore. But, placing ads, again, it's an art, and people need, and SEO is an art, and people always ask me, I have to know the algorithm. If I only knew Google's algorithm, if I only knew Facebook's algorithm, if I only knew LinkedIn's algorithm. And the whole thing is that they change their algorithm so much, it's a full-time job to stay on top of them. But every single one of these places want one thing. They want a good customer experience for their clients. So if you are providing a good customer experience to their clients, you're never going to be hurt by them.
100%. I think you can get kind of sucked into the weeds of all of this stuff. And if you focus on end user experience, you're gold, because all of the algorithm is just to make sure that it's a good end user experience. And so Facebook wants their people happy. Google wants their users happy. If you can make them all happy, it means good content that they actually like, that's engaging, then they're going to reward you by bringing people to your stuff. So I think, people get caught in the weeds very much. Even like with YouTube, I see it a lot where people are like, well, you're going to have all of these terms in the description, and we're going to go and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, good thumbnail, good title, and a good hook.
Right.
Just put good content, a clickable title, a clickable thumbnail, a hook that makes you want to stay on to the end.
Exactly.
Like, if you do that really well, you're going to succeed on YouTube, because that's what gets people to have a good experience watching your content. They're going to want to watch your content. That's what YouTube wants. Just focus on making good stuff. And that's key.
I also wanted to say, and it's still true, you had mentioned, like with email, you do need to be all these, you do need to be visible to succeed online. And collaborating with other experts is what propelled me to six figures, and what has kept me to six figures. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm doing it all by myself. But with an online business, you cannot be a lone wolf. And there really is no competition. I always say our ideal clients hear our voices. One morning I was meditating, and I could hear all these distinct different types of birds in the trees around me. And if a dove coos, a dove responds. If a raven makes its loud noise, a raven responds. If a Tweety bird tweets, a Tweety bird responds. And it's just like that with us. And I can take me, and I can take another visibility coach, and I'm going to resonate. My people that I'm meant to serve are going to hear my voice, and they're going to cut out all the other noise, just like a Tweety bird cuts out the noise of the dove and the raven. But if you are more in tune with my colleague, then that's who you're going to hear their voice. And so there's no competition, because whoever we're meant to serve, they understand our language and we understand their language. And so therefore, whenever you're working with other people, we all have people on our list that will never, ever, ever work with us, but they might be a great fit for these other people they're collaborating with. And you're actually doing them a service by showing them these other experts that may be able to help them.
No, 100%. And I've got, I've built collaborative relationships over the years with people who, and for me, what's really important when I find someone is their stuff good? Like, and it's not, because we get asked by people all the time to promote their stuff. And it's like, well, you might be awesome. You can talk a good game, but I don't know you. I've never seen any of your training. I don't know anything about you. Like, the chances of me promoting your stuff, not so good. Like, because we've built a brand and I need my audience to trust me. That's part of my brand. And if I can't waste that trust promoting someone's stuff that isn't high quality and isn't truly going to serve them. And so that's always a really big thing for us. We build a relationship with someone. We see their training. We get to know them and know that their heart is there to serve and that their content and their training is really good. And then we'll take a look if it fits with our audience and how we want to help them. So I think those are big things to look at.
Yeah, if somebody's new, exactly. Yeah, it has to be a fit. I always say if you're looking for a collaborative partner, the first question is, do I like you? Because if I don't like you, chances are our beliefs and values aren't going to be the same. And if I don't like you, my clients probably aren't either, or my audience. The second question is, do we serve the same audience? The third question is, will you add value to my clients? And I do have to know what you're teaching to know that. If I have no clue, then I need to, and I have asked people, hey, let me look at your program. People will, and probably you too, Leah, people will give me their programs for free so I can check it out. And then I can decide if I want to promote them or not. And the fourth question is, can you make it a win-win-win relationship? It needs to be a win for you. It needs to be a win for the person you're collaborating with. And most importantly, it needs to be a win for both of your audiences.
Absolutely. So any tips for finding people to collaborate with?
I started my collaboration journey whenever a community was created called JV Insider Circle. It started in 2013 with Rich Gurman. Unfortunately, they went out of business they went out of business last year, might as well say. But it was a great place to meet other people that wanted to collaborate with you. And they had different events every year that you could go to and actually meet with people and create deals with other people. There's one girl, she was at the very first one that I went to in 2014. Her niche is, she's a Black woman, and her niche is helping Black women heal from sexual trauma. And through the art of collaboration, everything she learned, she now has a multi-7-figure business. So you can take any niche and you can create a very profitable business, especially whenever you find the right partners and you know what your goals are and you stick to them. There are other directories and there are other places out there that have communities. Well, the one that I like the most right now is JV Directory. And so with JV Directory, that is owned by Mark Porteous and David Ricklin. Mark Porteous was actually one of the very first members of JV Insider Circle. And David Ricklin, he has the largest self-growth website online called selfgrowth.com. And he has been in business since 1998 online. And so they have created this directory and they train you, they teach you. They have meetings a couple times a month where you can meet other people. And when you join their directory, right now, I think they have up to 2,000 people in the directory. So you can find podcasts to be on. You can find summits to be on. You can host your own summit, find people to speak at your summit. You can find other people that's in your niche. And one key whenever you're looking for JV partners is you look and you see what you do and ask yourself, what do people need before they need me? And what do people need after they have experienced me? Because now you're creating like a funnel. Well, first you go to Mary and Mary teaches this. Then you go to Cindy and I teach this. Now you go to Leah and Leah teaches more, right? So you're looking at people, we say serve the same audience, but they're all different steps. And those can be some of your best collaborative partners whenever it's similar to yours, but they teach a different step of it.
100%. That it needs to be complementary, not competitive. So what is your freebie you want to give to our audience?
My freebie is the visibility checklist, and it is a 9-step checklist to radically up-level your visibility, influence, and profits. And so it's just 9 steps. The first step is you really have to know what you want to be known for, because online, if you're not sharing your message consistently and you are sharing other people's messages, or you jump around, people aren't going to know what you stand for. And that visibility is not going to do you any good. You could have 2 million followers and not make a dime if you're not clear on what you want to be known for and who you want to serve. It is a checklist. So, but I have the checklist, and then under each checklist, I have directions on how you can do each part of it. And whenever you marry visibility and influence, profits will come.
I love that. That's awesome. So we'll have the link to that in the show notes on the website. Definitely want to check that out. Where can they find you online if they just want to check in with you?
Yes. And for the visibility checklist, you can get that at visibilitychecklist.com. My website is cindyjholbrook.com. If you Google Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, you're going to find all of my social media links. You're going to find me everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been a fun experience. Love talking about collaborations. It's been a huge part of our business. Great insight that you shared. Thank you so much, Cindy J.
Thank you, Leah. It's been a pleasure.
You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.